Welcome to Arizona's Holocaust and Genocide Education Resources introductory video. On October 26, the Arizona Board of Education adopted a rule to reinforce and emphasize the importance of instruction on the Holocaust and other genocides at least twice between 7th grade and high school graduation. What specifically does the new board rule state? The addition appears for both middle and high school competencies. R7-2-301 governs the minimum course of study and competency goals for students in common schools, meaning K-8 public schools. In Section A, number 4, wording was added under the social studies requirements to include, quote, instruction on the Holocaust and other genocides at least once in either grade 7 or grade 8, end quote. R7-2-302 governs the minimum course of study and student competency requirements for graduation from an Arizona public high school. Here, in Section 1B, wording was added to include instruction on the Holocaust and other genocides. That being said, the history and social science standards already contains measures that require the Holocaust and other genocides to be taught beginning in grade 4 with European contact with Native Americans, grade 5 with American Studies, which includes slavery, westward expansion, and 20th century genocides, including the Holocaust. This board rule stresses the importance of teaching this content at both the middle and high school levels. Keep in mind that when teaching these difficult subjects, it should always be done in an appropriate manner for each grade level. How you address the Holocaust at grade 5, grade 7, and grade 11 will be much different. Let's look at the standards for middle school first. Since the board rule specifically mentions middle and high school, let's look at where the Holocaust and other genocides are listed in Arizona's history and social science standards. For our Arizona standards, there is reference to the Holocaust and other genocides in a couple of locations. First, they are referenced in the course considerations. These are the bulleted list of concepts that the Department of Education recommends teachers teach to create a full and robust course. This content is different for each of the grades, and then for each of the courses you create in high school. For 6th grade, the course considerations reference all genocides and should be taught when learning of the different civilizations of the Eastern Hemispheres. This would include ancient genocides like the ancient Hebrews, Rome and the Jewish diaspora, the destruction of Carthage, and moving further east, teachers should cover the Mongols and Tamerlane, and lastly, the religious persecutions of the Middle Ages. In 7th grade, teachers should include the Native American genocide that came with contact with Europeans, the decline of Native populations all over the world from imperialism, the destruction of West Coast populations of Africa with slave trade, and then the 20th century genocides are front and center. These include the Armenian genocide, Holocaust, the rape of Nanjing, the Stalinist purges, Rwanda, Darfur, Cambodia, and Bosnia, to name a few. In 8th grade, with the topic of human rights, genocides, and terrorisms, leave the field wide open for teachers to cover a variety of genocides, including the Holocaust. So where is the Holocaust and other genocides listed in Arizona's history and social science standards in high school? The high school, it depends upon the course, really when and how the Holocaust and other genocides would be covered. World history courses would cover the many genocides over the course of world history from the 1500s to the present era. Then US history too would cover a wide variety of genocides, including the Holocaust from a US point of view. In a civics or government class, genocides and the Holocaust are covered with foreign policy, citizenship, and migration topics. And lastly, in an economics class, when discussing economic reasoning, the global economy and trade are all issues that a teacher could include to discuss the economic impact of the Holocaust and other genocides of the 20th and 21st century. Where is the Holocaust and other genocides also listed in the Arizona history and social science standards? Using the disciplinary skills and processes anchor standards, the Holocaust and other genocides and the study of these events are already in our standards. For example, you use chronological reasoning, disciplinary skills and processes 1.1 through 1.4, to examine the changes and continuities involved in various genocides over time. You will examine and find similarities and differences between these events. Then using historical thinking and disciplinary skills and processes standards 2.1 through 2.3, your students will identify characteristics of these genocides, compare them, and most importantly, look at, analyze, and draw conclusions using multiple perspectives. These narratives from multiple voices are key primary sources to gather multiple points of view about the Holocaust and other genocides. Next, once your students are using these primary and secondary sources, they will use that evidence to construct claims to communicate their conclusions. This may include formal essay writing, but it can also be graphic organizers, presentations, discussions, and Socratic seminars. The possibilities are endless to assess your students' knowledge of the Holocaust and other genocides. Continuing on with more thinking within the discipline, students will be able to analyze the relationships among causes and effects and then use that evidence within their arguments. Please note that certain arguments are considered settled issues. Whether or not the Holocaust occurred is not an acceptable question. It is a settled issue by historians, academia, governments, and the like the world over. As your school district and you create a scope and sequence for your students, you will need to make sure that the study of the Holocaust and other genocides is included in that scope and sequence. It is important that all teachers are held accountable for teaching this content. How this content looks really depends upon you. As Arizona is a local control state, each district or school can and will do things a little different. The 2018 standards are also extremely flexible to allow for variations at the local level. You can teach the standards using themes, units, or a more traditional chronological approach. Look at your students, your community, and determine what are the greatest needs with regards to teaching this content. Using backward design, where you can look at where you want your students to finish mastery for the year, determine where the Holocaust and other genocides fit into the units, themes, or timelines of your scope and sequence. Where do I look to find resources? The first place to start is the Arizona Department of Education's Holocaust and Genocide Education Resource page. This page is a great place to start. On this page, you will first find a handy Holocaust education toolkit. This toolkit specifically focused on the Holocaust. You will find many links, including tips for teachers, training for teachers, book resources, video resources, feature films, Arizona testimonials and oral histories, lectures, and glossary of terms. While the focus of this task force was on Holocaust education, you will also find many other genocide resources, especially in the books and video sections. Additional resources on this page include lessons and inquiries. We have broken down each section by grade band, and while the board rule sets a minimum of study for the middle and high school, like mentioned before, the Holocaust and other genocides, along with teaching about tolerance, can and should start in kindergarten. This tab includes a list of great websites for teachers to visit. The last great resource on this page are the recorded webinars. These webinars come from a variety of sources, and we at ADE have webinars on the Holocaust and genocide. We have literature of the Holocaust and English language arts, teaching approaches for middle and high school teachers, along with recorded webinars from valued and vetted organizations like Echoes and Reflections, along with their videos. Finally, the Arizona Holocaust and Genocide Education page includes ways in which you and your students can get involved, participate in in-service learning, student art and writing contests, along with possible grants to buy materials and resources to help improve your Holocaust and genocide education in your classrooms. We encourage you to get involved yourselves by participating in as much professional development as possible. Attend webinars, watch them on demand, participate in trainings and conferences to enhance your knowledge and skills to teach this important subject matter. Thank you for watching our short introductory video on Arizona's Holocaust and Genocide Education resources. Please contact us if you have any questions or concerns. Thank you.